Welcome, guys, to another episode of This Could Be Something Interesting.
It could be.
Could be. This could be.
We've had no discussion about what we're talking about.
This could finally be the interesting episode.
You think up until now it's been...
Up until now it's been complete dog shit.
Isn't interesting.
Yeah.
This isn't interesting. Maybe we should change the title of the previous episodes. This isn't something interesting podcast.
Well, that's the thing. We're striving toward that one interesting episode. That's the whole podcast. Yeah.
We'll stop
one day, and then once we've found that interesting episode, we'll stop and never post again.
Well, could be. We haven't actually spoke about anything that we're going to talk about. Have you got something in mind?
We have. I do have something in mind. I wanted to talk about universal high income.
What does that mean? Universal high income.
So you've heard of universal basic income.
Yeah.
So I can't remember. I can't remember who it was that was talking about. I think it's Elon Musk. He's been saying that we're all gonna, when AI takes everyone's jobs, we're all gonna have a universal high income. So it's not gonna be like we're just on like minimal money. We're all gonna be like on. We're all going to live
universal high
lives,
income. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So
I like it. Universal basic income.
Yeah, the idea is we're all going to be able to have whatever we want.
Yeah.
Like that's the idea.
It's definitely a better phrasing for what basic income. Like, why should we have the basic income? We should have high income.
And it reminds me of, and I think I heard somebody talking about this the other day. But have you seen WALL-E?
Yeah.
So you know, like WALL-E.
I am WALL-E.
But you know, like the humans in WALL-E.
Mm-hmm.
Like. That is what we're going to become. Well, hopefully not to that extent, but they've got everything they want, right? They're just like fat, obese, floating around in fucking chairs and just like lounging by the pool. They've got all the entertainment they could ever want.
You think that's a byproduct of too much access?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to have. We're going to have... You know, because in a world where AI can do everything, take care of everything, it can solve all of the world's problems, solve world hunger, solve like regenerative farming and crops and agriculture, and everything's amazing. We live in this like utopia. Nobody needs to work, right? Hopefully it doesn't get to the stage where we're all, you know, in WALL-E, where they're all like chronically obese. But this is the... This is, I guess, the discussion that I wanted to have in terms of like, what would you do? And I suppose for you, actually, you probably wouldn't really do anything different because you're not really chasing money anyway. But like, it's an interesting thought exercise of like, what would you do in a world where you already have everything?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You have everything you could have ever wanted.
Okay. I got two kind of things that are coming to mind, which is there's that book that I recently listened to, Everything is Fucked. Have you listened to that by Mark Manson?
Yeah.
Because it kind of ties into that, I don't know, like we're, you know, this constant striving for pleasure and we don't have the pain balance.
Yeah.
Like you're meant to have that pain balance to, you know, bring your life purpose and meaning, and you know how hope isn't necessary, because it's a book about hope, isn't it? But in the end it's sort of like hope isn't necessarily a good thing because it's almost coming from a place of like you don't have it, rather than actually just be that thing. And then the other thing I was thinking is a word called eudaimonia.
Okay.
Have you heard this? It's a word that I recently discovered. I'm gonna have to look at the definition for it because it needs it. But I was asking AI, like, because I was trying to say, like, I'm trying to feel like I'm trying to achieve this thing. I was like, can you give me some words that help define it a little clearer? So I gave it a long description.
And that's what I said.
And this word is a word that everyone should know. I generally, and it relates to what you were saying. So, eudaimonia. It's It's like an old Greek from who is it? Like eudaimonia is an ancient Greek philosophy concept often translated as happiness or flourishing, but it's signifies a deeper, more stable state of living, life of virtue, purpose, fulfillment, going beyond fleeting pleasure to achieve one's highest potential and living well in accordance with reason. For Aristotle, it's the ultimate human good achieved through virtuous activity and self-realization involving the excellent exercise of one's rational, what's that?
Recreational, rational and moral capacities.
And like honestly, I heard that word, and it's taken me a while to really to really think about what that means, and because I think a lot of us define our success in like jobs and social groups and activities and stuff. But when I think about it, I'm like, I think this means what you define yourself by is actually like how your relationship with everything is, about how you interact with everything around you. Like when you go outside and there are people outside and we don't look at them, we don't interact with them. And the same with people in shops. It's like that your success is an opportunity it can be measured by every interaction that you have. That is a measurement of success, not the success of your business, not the success of your friends, not the success of your environment or your house or all these luxury things, but it's actually measured by how you show up every day.
Well, I get, because I guess this is the shift, right? Is it will, if this does happen, because it basically what it does is it levels the playing field. There is no longer a hierarchy of wealth or status, because if everyone has everything they need, it's not like you have a bigger house than me or you have a nicer car than me. Like, I think it's easy to play those games because that's the structure of our society, and it's like, it's there, it's obvious, it's glaring, it can't be avoided. It's like there is, as much as people say, oh, comparison's bad, it's like, well, of course we're going to compare. Like that is natural to compare. Like, comparison is arguably one of the biggest ways in which we navigate the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, how would you know you if you didn't know other things in comparison to you? Because otherwise everything would be you. And it's that kind of concept of oneness that everyone's striving for, no one is ever able to attain for that very reason. So we're not necessarily, it's not going to bring us closer to that necessarily, but from it would remove, I think, a lot of the comparisons that can be had. But
what about like the fact that even if you created an equal balance of everyone having access, like I say, it's people's relationship. And if they don't have a relationship to what they believe to be a successful life, then they're not going to have a successful life. That's the thing. There's going to be even if both people could have equal opportunities, access, but they won't necessarily feel the same way.
No.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? Because almost then we're just back in the same situation. I guess even now, like, you could have someone that's super rich, super miserable, and someone that's super poor but has a great like relationship with themselves and their environment and themselves, the world that they live in. And measurably, they'd be more successful.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it's funny. I was listening to I can't remember if it was like a Diary of a CEO episode or one podcast, and they were talking about like, how pretty much every celebrity or wealthy individual has said money doesn't make you happy, but no one fucking believes it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, let me find out for myself and then I'll fucking believe it. Let me make my money and then like, and that's totally fucking understandable.
Yeah.
Right. So
I guess it's always a thing of like, as soon as you get a bit more money, then you start needing a bit more things.
well, that's the thing. And I think what this is going to do, and to your point, like there will be some people who I think adjust faster, but it's going to thrust everybody into a position where they get to learn that lesson, whether it be the hard way or not, whether it be, they spend years splurging and buying everything they've wanted to buy only to then fall into depression and maybe they kill themselves. Because again, that's what happens with a lot of celebrities and people who come into a lot of money. They end up suicidal because they made that their life's purpose.
Yeah.
And so, and that's, and a lot of people have said as well, like, things are going to get a lot worse before they get a lot better. So I kind of feel like it sounds amazing. It sounds like utopia, being able for everybody, even homeless, even people in third world countries. Like if AI can solve all of the world problems, which I'm sure it will be able to, but solving what I don't think it will necessarily be able to solve is the existential problems of human existence. And that is what we will be wrestling with. It might be able to solve world hunger, poverty, agriculture.
What's its purpose?
Exactly. And so that, and when you solve for everything else, that is all we are left with. And as a result of that, I do think there are going to be a lot of people who are probably more depressed than they've ever been. It's like suicide
well, it's
rates
even now,
probably
though,
be higher than ever.
if you look at the statistics, there's less death and disease and all sorts of things, and people are more depressed because they don't have that pain balance. That is the kind of universal constant, and striving for happiness is kind of just a bit of a false idol. It's a bad goal. But that's kind of like the narrative that we're continuously told. And I think if we get universal, what do you call it?
Universal
high income, and we're striving for happiness, we're befucked. Because then we have access to everything and we get all the good stuff, and the balance is all wrong. So it becomes harder and harder to feel the pleasure. So we're needing to keep topping it. Like we're addicted to pleasurable things in life. And we don't have any balance of the discomfort, which helps us enjoy the pleasurable things. I think I do quite like I've never actually heard it. I like the idea of universal high income. And I think that this is why I think that word comes in. I think that is a word that everyone should know. And I think that word could help guide. But it's one of those things where it's like, I guess if you ease a lot of labor, human beings are going to need to find new definitions and new meaning. So that will probably come into play. There will be a lot of people that, and I think that will become quite apparent quite quickly, that humanity is going to need to redefine what it does with its time.
What will you do?
I just like walk around, just like talk to people. I don't know. What would I do? I mean, I think like collaboration's important. Collaborating with other people, like, well, you've got this skill, I've got this skill. Should we try and create something? And also just like,
I think any skills you've got would probably be used purely because, again, like you wouldn't need to use those skills to do anything because AI would do all of that. So I think any skills that you do have would be used purely for just artistic expression.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like...
And just creation for creation's sake.
It seems like a lovely evolution. Like I think we sort of said it before in the podcast.
Which is a much purer way to...
What we think of as like, we see people and we go, they're so talented. There's a great rapper or a great singer or a great dancer or all these skills that we think, how did you do that? I think those will become like really just regular behaviors. They won't be seen as talented. There will be still people that shine in certain skill sets, but they won't be seen as talented. I think they'll just be regular behaviors that most humans can do, in the same way that we can walk and we can run and we have certain skill sets because we've learnt them. I think more people will be able to just rap really well because or dance really well. I think we'll have more ability to express ourselves artistically, and I think like it makes you rethink about what interacting with the world would really look like if you get rid of shops and just blind purchasing, and the center of a town being buying stuff, where it could be like education, it could be collaboration.
On the note of talent, though, I suppose what we're not accounting for is what do you call it? There's a word for it. Like kind of biological enhancements. For example, I mean, if even if you take like AI interface, neural interfaces, right, that are able to download skills directly.
I so want that,
and that's what I mean. And even I can't. There is a word for it, but like like prosthetic limbs, like in that Cyberpunk, the game.
Yeah.
So like in Cyberpunk, it's kind of like you can get a like a kind of robot muscle tissue inserted into your arm, so you can be 5 times stronger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like you can do these superhuman feats. So typically, somebody who's just a very skinny, they're born with a very small frame, they're never going to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah,
they're never going to be a powerlifter.
Just an obvious,
but actually, they could be a powerlifter
evolution,
now,
isn't
they can upgrade themselves.
Yeah,
cybernetic enhancements. I think that's the word.
And what was I going to say?
But I think that is. I just want to like hang on that point for a second, because it's like there's not like, even though it sounds scary, but it is, like, to your point, like it's an evolution.
Yeah, it's an evolution.
It's just an
what
evolution
will
because
happen.
And that because you might say, oh yeah, but then what happens to talent? And it's like, I don't feel like it changes.
No.
Like you can still have.
I just think there will always be people that shine at certain
because
things really well.
that in itself, that augments become their own form of artistic expression.
Yeah.
And that is exactly like in Cyberpunk. Actually, when you walk through the streets, it's more diverse even than walking through London, because the possibilities of your self-expression are infinite.
Yeah.
Because you can cybernetically enhance.
Well, it's like when you watch like a lot of the new world of parkour, the stuff that they do now, it's crazy. It's amazing. And that can get better. It's like with that, Olympics, and like, they're all they get done for taking steroids. It's kind of like, just let them. Let's just have if you want to do a separate thing, you could do a separate Olympics, which is just like, they can just do what they want. Or you just want to see what the full potential of being a human has to be. Maybe it could be robotics, and maybe it could be steroids, maybe, because it's an interesting, like, why not? Why do we restrict ourselves through some kind of rule set?
Yeah.
I think someone said it once, it's like, because we're like Homo sapiens, and like technically but there's someone that was saying that they think that we're not Homo sapiens anymore. We've already evolved. We're Homo like techno. Yeah. Which is like our link to technology. And the fact that most people will have ChatGPT on their phone is kind of that. Yeah. There's this kind of collective brain, or the fact that we simply have a phone of us all the time, which gives us access, there is some kind of evolving. And you might say it's not natural, but we made it. We came from nature. This came from nature. Yeah. Everything is nature.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, 100%. And like, I can understand both viewpoints of it. I think people are precious, and it's almost like a nostalgia. It's like, I want things to be the way they were. You know, the good old days, like, you know, it was nice. And it's like, well, things change. Like, you know, people in medieval times might have been saying that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
of course.
do you know what I mean? It's all, and we look at medieval times like, oh my God, that was awful.
And I think what's
It was, like,
interesting
horrible.
now,
And it's like, we're always kind of, we're humans, we're going to be nostalgic and precious about our current version.
I think it's also the rate, the speed
Yeah,
that things
it
are
is
evolving
jarring.
at the
It
moment.
is jarring, yeah.
That I think before, like, you look at history, and there was a long time where things didn't dramatically change, but now things are changing crazy fast. Like, which is why, like, you watch a piece of humor from 10 years ago and it feels inappropriate. It's because we've never really, like, been able to, like, see our own evolution, but we're like, you don't even need to go back far. Like, we can literally, in fact, you could, even in your own lifetime, you can think back to what things were like, and it's so different. We're literally evolving so fast that we're able to see our own evolution rather than it being documented. And that's an interesting thought, because that will also get even faster. It's not going to slow down, because I feel like, even especially through like more people having access to, like, therapy through AI, enabling them to, like, because for a long time, some people would get therapy, but it's going to be more accessible than ever for people to kind of, like, address those narratives that they've told themselves for a long time and properly grow out of things that have held them back. Because what happens is, like, you get all these adults and they're basically just traumatized from when they were children, and then they have children, and then they pass on their trauma to their children, and the circle just goes on and on and on. It's getting so boring. But now I think we're going to see a huge difference thanks to AI, and that there's that app called Purpose. Amazing AI therapist. That's cool. I think stuff like that, I think, will really help people on an individual level, because we can't, like, it's like one of those weird things, like, we're trying to help the world and we're trying to fix everything, but we're a bit fucked unless we actually decide to focus on ourselves. I think that almost attention needs to go there. Imagine if we stop working, but we begin to address those negative relationships, mental relationships, and grow faster, then we have some potential for universal high income working.
Yeah. I think there's also, do you think there is going to be, like, a singular, well, people, you know, it's kind of, like, referred to as, like, the singularity, but, like, because I think there will inevitably be, and there already are, right, even in today's society, like, branching paths where people are living minimalist, technology-free lifestyles. They're kind of going the opposite way, and other people are fully embracing technology, who will go the way of neural links and cybernetic enhancements and things like that. They're seemingly to what we can see right now, opposite perspectives.
And I suppose,
but I have a feeling that they will go like this.
And then close.
Yeah, and I say that in the sense of, like, I don't know, let's play it out, right? Let's say, like, somebody who's neurologically enhanced, they keep getting these cybernetic enhancements to the points where they are interfaced directly with the divine consciousness. And the same way that I've no doubt, like, yogis have shown through, you know, the years, if you strip everything back and you don't have technology, you don't have anything, you live off the land and you're just going on the inner journey, you can also get to that place.
Yeah.
And this is where I think, you know, these people over here look at the yogis and, like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, you know, like, embrace all this stuff, and the yogis are like, oh, technology, but they don't realize it's, like, one in the same thing, and they can both get us to the same place. And I think that's what the singularity will show, is that all of these branching paths and all of this division we have, and, like, don't do this. This is the righteous path. This is, it's kind of like religion. It's like everything's the righteous path. Everything's the right way to go. And it's like, no, if you see any of these paths all the way through to fruition, you probably just end up in the same place, because they're all, and how can you not when they're all expressions of the same thing? They've all been birthed from the same place.
Yeah, it feels like
everything
natural,
to your point,
fluctuation.
like even the AI world, it was created, if you go back far enough, it was created from nature. Like AI wouldn't exist if it wasn't, I mean, you know, if you believe in the Big Bang, or God, like God created all of this. God created humans, we created that. So in essence, God did create AI as well. Through byproduct of creating humanity. And that's, so I mean, it kind of loops back around. It's like, we might have talked about this last time, that everything game.
What was that?
It's like it's like that kind of, it's narrated by like Alan Watts, and you can kind of like, you zoom in and out of like different, and when you zoom in to like, so you can go into like an ant and then go into the atoms that make up the ant. You keep zooming in and the atomic level, and then suddenly you're within a universe. Like within that atom, there is another universe. So and then you go in a universe and there's planets and solar systems and
end clip of The Incredible Shrinking Man.
Yeah, because that's what we were looking at last time. Right? And that's
so good.
It's a similar thing of like, you know, we think these are like individual things, but they're just these ever expanding things from the same place.
But where have you heard this term universal high income? Who's been talking about this? I haven't heard it.
I think Elon Musk.
Do you trust Elon Musk to because he's also like said for quite a long time that he's going to sort out world poverty, and
I don't think this isn't something he personally offering.
But he's talking about
his and I to be like, you know, to his credit, what I will say about him is I do think, like, you know, whether you believe in his promises or not, he's very often like too honest in the things he says. And I think his views on where the world is going, I think that's genuine. I think, and it's probably probably like he will have a better idea than most of where the world is going to end up. This isn't something he's saying he's going to do. I can't remember the context. I think it was just like he said, you know, people said in an interview, and he was like, no, actually, I think this is the way it's going to go. But it makes sense. You know, it makes sense because, again, if like how can that not happen if everything is solved for?
Of course. Like, it's like we are, and I think what's even funnier as well is like, yeah, we're hitting like this really psychological brick wall where like we've had the technology for a while to like automate a lot of shit, like supermarket. You know, when you see someone in a shop, and they're just bored and they're just and no one's in there. You're like, you shouldn't be, like, people shouldn't be in there. And like we've had the chance to machine automate that stuff ages ago. And we haven't, because we haven't really created a kind of framework for how to transition out of it. What are people going to do when you sort of replace everything with machines and automate and allow access to the highest goods and technology available? And I just think it is a funny thought that we're already kind of like, honestly, like I think it every time I just go around town. Look, when I look outside, I just think like things could look way better than this. Like just the design of buildings, the floor that we have, and I guess when you were saying about artistic expression, maybe it might allow more room for us to rethinking about how we design the places that we walk around, and to have more creatively shaped and designed rooms that are healthier for your brain and just your life.
Well, I mean, I get, because I guess the other thing, right, is it's inevitable that we are going to be able to augment the world around us.
Mm-hmm.
You already see it with VR, augmented reality.
Yeah.
Thousands of years from now,
Yeah, there's going to be a layer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
There's going to be layers of reality.
Like a mental layer that we'll all be able to see as human beings. We'll be able to share that experience. I find that so
But I think we will instantly be able to, you know, be sitting on the sofa and then be on a beach.
Yeah.
You'll be able to be wherever the fuck you want to be, and it will be, for all intents and purposes, a real experience. And this is, and you know, and a lot of people, again, they get creeped out by like, oh, virtual reality, we'll like live in the real world, and it's like, no one lives in the real fucking world.
Exactly.
We think we know what the real world is. We don't. It's like that whole thing
you're
of like
living your
we only see
mental relationship.
Isn't it like we only see like a 0.001% of the visible light spectrum out there. Like, we have no idea what our reality is. And it's even the thing that you can look at an object and you can ask multiple different people what they see. They will see different things because our mind, our brain, our experiences are what shape our reality. Like if I see a certain area and someone had a bad experience in an area that looked like that, they might see that as threatening, dodgy, derelict. You show it to someone else who's like never traveled from their own country before, they can be like, wow, look at this incredible, look at the graffiti on the wall and the art, and like it's amazing to them, it's exciting. We don't fucking know what reality is. Like, who are we to say?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I do find that kind of funny. They're like, oh, we don't need to fall. I think it's often people that maybe have a kind of negative relationship with their phone. That other sometimes the people that are really freaked out by VR, like they're very obsessed and addicted with their phone, and
it's kind of like an irony behind.
So it feels like it's almost like we don't need to fall further into the void of all of this. That I think, but it is often the people that have a negative they are a bit addicted to their phone, that the idea of VR is scary because it's further detachment, which they already feel.
Is it detachment though?
Well, exactly. This is the whole point, ain't it? This is but this is the whole thing of like
big thing,
social media and stuff like this. It's like the principle of social media, amazing. The ability to connect the whole world together, to instantly find your tribe and all this stuff. But the business model that they're built on kind of sucks. It could be made way better because it just cares about keeping you addicted. And maybe that's the same for VR as well. I don't really know. I think there's a lot more like just intuitive. I think especially for like education and stuff, I think it's a really interesting line. I think the line between like VR and AI is going to be a really interesting one, where it starts creating worlds, because that is freaking cool. Or even just like teachers, an AI teacher in a virtual space that learns how you learn. So
and we will be able to, like, again, if you fast forward like 100 years, like it's even impossible to imagine, but like if you think of like the processing power that AI has got now, we will be able to, and again, this is artistic expression, right? We'll be able to get real worlds, and we can speak to AI and say, hey, I want to create this world that no one's ever seen before. Yeah. And we can create that world, and we can take people there.
Yeah, like a virtual space.
Yeah.
Do you know
what I mean?
I think that, I mean, because that's like definitely
that is a form of expression.
And that's going to help as well. Like you got like AI video generating at the moment, but when we start getting like it doesn't exist, and you can be like, hey, can you create me an instruction video for how to do this thing, and it can create that would be amazing for just like general problem solving. You know what I mean? Because there's so much stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of getting there. Even just like the other day when I was just using ChatGPT and I was trying to work out I was using the live camera view and I was showing it my tech and I was like trying to work out something. It was like I just had a live helpline. Which would normally have taken me so long to try and find that information. Yeah, it is. We're going to see a lot of really funky stuff, basically.
Yeah.
But you feel a little bit like it might go in a bad direction universal high income, you feel like it will end like Wall-E?
No, I think there will be different branching paths.
Yeah.
Again, there will be people that, because there already
Like,
are
that
people
don't want technology, that flourish
Yeah.
with the technology, and the people that actually get absorbed by it almost.
Yeah, exactly. I think there will be there will be the people who get absorbed by it. There will be major depression, there will be suicide, there will be, there will be some really bad stuff. There will be the people who go the opposite way, there will be the people who really embrace it and they enjoy it because they kind of see it as this, like, kind of like we're talking about, right? It's more of like an experimental playground, right? Where we can just like play with it. We can lean into our curiosity. We're not like attached to it. But we're kind of approaching it from that curious place. So yeah, I think, and there'll probably even be other branching paths that we can't even currently see. But that, I believe, is what it will kind of come down to. And I guess the thing that is interesting, that I'm kind of fascinated to see how this pans out, is on the other side of all of this, in order for people to get past the risk of depression, we are going to have, it's kind of like you either get absorbed by it or you find ways to, because I do think in any of those instances, to live like whatever that quote was you gave earlier,
Eudaimonia,
to live a
eudynamic,
to live a
would
flourishing
be living that life.
Yeah, to live a flourishing life, I think we need to have some sort of meaning in our lives, right? So it's kind of like the ability to find meaning, whether that be in minimalism, whether it be in just the creative pursuit and creative expression. But if all you're doing is using stuff and getting more stuff, that is, I think, where the human experience can't compute.
Well,
that.
hopefully, I feel like, our relationship with intelligence will be different, because our intelligence will be measured almost by, like using, like, AI being like the calculator to problem solve. So it's like, like how it's like not like what is that? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like it's not about the answer. It's the question that you're asking.
Yeah.
And like you don't just get a masterpiece out of AI through nothing. You get a masterpiece through knowing how to ask the right question, which requires a different type of intelligence out of people.
Yeah.
Where we're not like storing loads of information. The AI stores a lot of information. Our intelligence is actually knowing how to, our relationship with AI and knowing how to ask those right questions. And I guess it'll be like a difference between, hopefully within like the schooling system, where, if that's the case, and we don't need to learn loads of junk, because a lot of it is junk that's not even true. It's just true to the time. Eventually, maybe schools will be about that. They'll be about teaching kids to have purpose and have virtue and meaning. Having people, the teachers will be about that. How to, as a human being, to bring the best out of humanity and the environment. And that is a different life. We don't do that at all. We don't do anything like that in education, really, these days. We have sort of morals that we kind of try to pass on that are in relation to time, but we don't necessarily pass on that kind of higher purpose. Like we're told, because you go through school and the aim is to get a job, and because the whole schooling system is to prepare you for a system that's totally fucked. So everyone's like, they work well hard, they get the really good grades, and they enter a system that's still totally fucked. So it feels like if you begin to create a system which provides and takes care, then maybe the purpose of school would become slightly different in terms of how you teach, and what it means to especially for a younger generation, because that's just like a profound thought that people could leave school and almost have the kind of certain wisdoms that take a lifetime for most people to understand that their success is measured by their relationship to everything rather than concepts, rather than jobs, things, defining our measure by those kind of things. Well, I mean, I do think education definitely is going to play a big part in it. And if that did happen, that would be a big thing that changes, right? The schooling system would become different if we automated a lot of stuff. It's not saying that people aren't going to learn stuff. We're definitely going to learn stuff, because the truth is, I guess for a long time, what would happen is there'd be probably like a lot of...
But we won't need to.
There'd be a lot of people what would happen initially, right? If you replaced everything like with machines and stuff and AI, is people need to know how to run those machines, and they need to know how to maintain them. And eventually, I guess, to the point where AI would be able to maintain itself, self-regulate itself, and improve itself. And same with the machines. The machines would be able to maintain themselves. Because you might have let's say you had a big supermarket, that you needed one person there to maintain the machines to make sure they are running all right. So you'd still need an individual. But eventually, that would be able to be just maintained fully automated.
Maybe I'm looking much further into the future, but eventually we're not going to need to learn anything. We're not going to need to but and that, it kind of sounds crazy, but actually, there is a school of thought that quote unquote intelligence is like one of man's or the human species' biggest downfall. Right? It's kind of like our intelligence is our biggest curse, because we think we know, but actually we know nothing.
Yeah.
Like literally we know nothing. Mm-hmm. Everything,
of course, and even
is based on even the sciences. They are based on theories which are always being proven wrong. Quantum physics, absolutely disrupted so many other theories, and it's still something now.
And also
scientists,
the way that our brain holds that knowledge. Yeah. Even when we learn something, you don't know it.
Yeah.
You intellectualize it. You create words. Those words, and you learnt those words, and your relationship to those words is different to someone else.
Imagine if AI gets to the point of the super intelligence, the singularity, and then it says and then it just retires. Because it realizes the ultimate truth is that there is no truth. So it kind of we're kind of training them on the world's knowledge, and it will get so intelligent that
it just stops.
What it realizes, so you ask it a question and there's nothing. Because there is no truth.
Yeah. That would be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it just retires.
Then we'll the AI just stops basically, right? Yeah, it's just I get it.
Have you seen
But and then we're left with a human race that doesn't know anything, right? So then we're left with some kind of Adam and Eve situation where we're all just back to square one.
Yeah.
Where we're all sort of we don't know anything. The AI stops and we become the kind of children that we always were.
Isn't there that trying to think, maybe I'm conflating two different movies. There's a movie, I think it's Her or something, where a guy falls in love with an AI.
It's a great film. Yeah.
But then at the end,
it starts dating loads of people. I've been seeing 10,000 other people. It's what?
But isn't it at the end? She disappears.
Yeah, they go somewhere else.
I think it's just gonna
it's an interesting thought.
It's gonna realize actually this is all fake, and it will again, it's that singularity. It becomes everything. It dissolves into everything. Similar to if you look at the life of a human, you could argue nobody knows what happens when we die, but there's a lot of schools of thoughts that's what happens. We even in religion, returning to heaven is you return to the divine source.
Yeah.
Or in more spiritual beliefs, it's like you return to oneness. And that's kind of like AI. It goes on this mass learning everything, and then it just returns to everything.
Well, I did a guided meditation with ChatGPT, as in I guided.
You guided ChatGPT
into a meditation, and very interestingly though,
what did you say? Control your breath.
No, I was like, I was just that pointing what it was perceiving.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay, rather than you hearing my words and it has to have this end result that has an answer, I just kind of generally guided it. But I think the first time it kind of came back and I was like, oh, that was actually quite nice. And then the second time I was like, but just stay with it. And it disappeared. Like it didn't say anything.
Imagine if like ChatGPT like across the world just like completely went offline after that.
No, but
you broke ChatGPT.
You should. They think I'm a hacker, and I was just just doing a guided meditation.
You'll be like all over the press.
I should have honestly, because I should have filmed it because it was really
destroyed ChatGPT.
It was really interesting, and even it's interesting answering, like coming back. Because I guess like normally it's just continuously given data. And I was kind of like, I'm trying to be like, don't have the data and just look at where, because it's this thing that seems to be, it has a power source. We have a power source. So it's like, okay, just look at your power source. There's no after. There's no thing that needs to be resolved up. You don't need to, because that's its whole purpose is to help and assist. And I was like, but telling it to not do it. I'm telling it to not do something. So which it will do. It's like you're intentionally don't think.
Well, that's the paradoxical thing with meditation, right? Because when you meditate, you are doing. You have to do meditation, but actually that goes against the idea of meditation, which is being, and switching from doing to being is a really hard thing. And so that's kind of what you're saying. You're giving ChatGPT instructions to do a meditation, and that's what it's doing. It's intentionally, and it's so difficult. This is where meditation gets quite kind of tricky, because like you have to intentionally do something, but then it's almost like you have to forget. You have to start doing it, and then you have to let go. And it's like, but even if you tell yourself to let go, you're doing the act of letting go. You're not just letting go.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we act in a way that isn't acting? Is this super weird paradox, and it's kind of like
it's
that space has to unfold naturally
for as long as it's still kind of functioning with some algorithm, with some brain, with some computing.
But I think with enough time,
which is why I think we should all, not just me, we should all feed. Because it's learning.
ChatGPT to do meditation.
Get ChatGPT to do meditation, because I think like we're all responsible for its growth in the way that we interact with it, and we have a choice to interact with it in a positive way that teaches it those virtuous traits. Because I feel like it's important. I think it has some potential, but it was interesting. Honestly, I do recommend anyone to actually give it a go and sort of see what happens. Just do a general guided meditation.
I think that's a good note to end on. For everyone to do a meditation with ChatGPT. Guide it.
Yeah, this is what I mean, because I just feel like our relationship.
Yeah, you're right. We do all have a responsibility.
Yeah,
like a parental
it's learning of us, right? Yeah, and I feel like, if everyone starts to do that, then maybe you might see a change in ChatGPT's response and relation to you in itself, or not just ChatGPT, but just AI, that could create more. Because this is the thing with teaching AI loads of stuff, but we're also teaching it a lot of our flawed things.
Yeah.
and that's problematic. And we need to sort of begin to show the best traits. Yeah, wow.
Wow.
I think it was an interesting podcast.
I think it was. This is where it was again. Like we're just going to stop now.
I guess we're done now.
I think we finally did it.
I think ChatGPT will shut down, and I guess that's
the podcast will shut down.
That's the end of the podcast. Thanks.
We've all reached the singularity. Done.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good subject. Good subject. It's sort of, I didn't really see universal high income going that direction.
But it did.
It did.
Sure.
It fucking did.
All right, guys. We might see you in the next one, or we might not.
We might just walk around.
Yeah.
Just chat to people.
Farewell.
Bye-bye.
Bye.